Be honest, what does that look like? This is a dry techu or a dry jujube. Techu is the way we call it in Korea. And whilst these are something that I'm very familiar with and very much love, I wanted to share it with you guys because I've realised that in the UK it's hard to find and it's just uncommon in the UK. And for people out there who's always looking to find out interesting stuff or just weird things, well, this will be another one to the list. The fresh jujube, the fresh techu, the fresh jujube, they are actually quite like the fresh date and also a little bit like an apple. They have a similar texture in the way that they kind of crunch, and the way they fall apart when you bite into them or cut into them is very similar. And even the taste is a little bit similar in that they have a slight tartness and a similar kind of profile of the sweetness. Not the same, but they do share similar characteristics, the apple, the fresh date and the fresh jujube. When dried, these, as you can see, are much more wrinkled. They're a very dried kind of dry, whereas the dried date is, it's very wet. It's like a syrupy kind of a dried fruit. The jujubes actually look quite similar to dates as well, in the sense that they have that kind of a seed in the middle. And it's a very similar shaped seed too. And the fresh jujubes, you can just have like a fruit, same as you would an apple. And they do taste very refreshing, a little bit of sweetness, really surprisingly similar to an apple. Although maybe in some sense not surprising because they do look quite similar. The dry jujubes have a thick, dense kind of sweetness, but it's not caramelly like the dates. It's a much more of a dry kind of sweetness, as is the texture. It also interestingly has a scent that is similar to the kinds of scents that you get in aged products. So I'm not saying it's the same smell as these things that I'm now going to list, but it's those smells that you only get in the products like whiskey or aged cheese or like an aged soy sauce or a miso. Just that kind of a musky, woody, oaky smell almost that you get in those aged things, which I think is interesting why you get that from a dried fruit. They do smell beautiful. And very sweet as well, very thick, sweet smell. The flavour is very similar to as it smells. It's a thick, dense, dry sweetness. It's not caramelly, but it is a deep flavour. It lingers in the mouth. It does stay for a while. The texture is actually quite similar to like a dried apple in that it's chewy like that. It has that kind of tensile strength. It doesn't kind of just mush away like a medjool date. And I'll just show you what it looks like on the inside, although there are going to be pictures as well. They're also you can see that they have like a sort of a sponginess to them, and they don't kind of just lose their shape completely, and you don't have to be too delicate with them like you do with a medjool date. Or in fact, a lot of the dates that come from the Middle East, because there are a lot of different kinds of dates. That's for another day. So you can see the seed inside, which anyone who's ever had a date will know that this is a very similar kind of a shape of the seed. There you go. You can see that it's very dry. It doesn't leave anything on the fingers. It doesn't kind of stick around. It is slightly sticky, but not. It doesn't stay there. Interestingly. God, I really like the taste of these. So where can you get these? You can get them in Korea, you can get them in China. In London, you can get them from the Asian grocers. If you go to the Korean shop in Tottenham Court Road or the Chinese ones in Chinatown, the Asian supermarket in Bayswater also has it as well. And also, there's there's a brand called Abacus that have started doing these as snaps, so in little packs like these with a few of these in there. Like you have those snap packs of dried fruit. You can get them from Whole Foods and Ocado and various other places as well, and their website too. Sure, there are other places. If you go to Chinatown, they sell them in big bags of like 100, 200 grams. They're relatively cheap per weight. The Abacus ones are a lot more expensive per weight, but that's, I think, partly down to at least two reasons that I can think of. One of it is the fact that it's like a snack pack. Things that come in smaller amounts are just generally more expensive per unit or per unit weight. So things like, even if you get like a snack pack of nuts, that's going to be more expensive per 100 grams than if you get, a kilo of nuts. That's one of the reasons why abacus is more expensive per weight than if you can get them from Chinatown or Korean supermarkets. The other reason I think is that the quality of the jujubes or the tetchus that abacus use are actually pretty good. So those fruit probably just initially cost more. I can compare them to the ones that I can get in Korea, and I can say, and relatively speaking, they're at a good standard. The ones from Chinatown I've never bought myself, so I can't comment on the quality of those comparatively. I expect they're not as high a quality, but I have never tried. In Korea, we generally use them in sort of soups or broths, like in some of the Mediterranean cuisines where they put dried raisins or dried apricots into casseroles and tagines. We also use them in kind of drinks, like you would like a lemon ginger tea or a fruit tea. We also use them when we make other traditional Korean confectionery, like the rice cakes that we call dak, of which mochi or those kinds of things are a subgroup of, in a way that is similar to how dried fruit like raisins or candied peels are used in confectionery in Europe. Traditional desserts or snacks, things like panettone, things like Christmas pudding, smaller snacks as well like granola bars, flapjacks, although I'm not sure how recent granola bars are. We don't really snack on these, although I don't see any reasons why you wouldn't. I personally am happy to. For all intents and purposes, they are a dried fruit and you can have them as you like. Man, that's good. The flavour really lingers. It's a very thick, dense flavour. It goes to the back of your nose quite a lot as well, kind of towards sort of that side. You breathe out, I can still get it there. It's a very distinctive flavour, very distinctive taste. I love it. Absolutely love it. What's really nice as well, if you slightly bake these or just kind of heat them up for a little bit, they become really crunchy. That's really nice to sprinkle on top of cereal, on yogurt or something as another kind of a dried fruit. Or chop them up and put on top of even ice cream or kind of desserts. Chewy or crunchy, either way. In fact, abacus do have both versions. They've got the chewy ones and the crunchy ones. They've also even got them stuffed with nuts, which I haven't tried, but I can imagine what it's like. In fact, I've done it myself, where you just get one of these, stick a cashew nut in there, whatever you want. So these are jujubes. I wanted to share it with you guys because although it's very familiar to me and it's something that I love and I take it as very common, but I have realised that these aren't something that are very widely known in Western cultures. So I thought anyone who's looking for another interesting dried fruit to try, or just something that's new and interesting to look at, that I share it with you guys. Please leave a comment if you know any other countries that use this. I've had a quick look online. Apparently Croatia make marmalades out of these, and Persia and Jordan and other sort of Middle Eastern countries also have them, which will be interesting because I have these as well as the kind of medjool dates. Try something new. Go on, give it a go. Be adventurous. The world is there to be explored. Pop down to Chinatown or pop down to the Whole Foods, order on Ocado. It's probably on Amazon as well. You only live once, you might as well try things. Try the tetchu, the jujube. I love these. I just wanted to let more people know about them. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found that interesting and it gets you in an adventurous mood. Hit that bell to stay tuned to all the other new foods that I want to share with you guys, new products on the shelves, as well as the food cost analysis that I am doing. Leave a comment if there's something else exotic, something else new, something that's interesting out there. If you've got a friend who loves dried fruit, if you've got a friend who likes trying new things, let them know about this. The jujube, the tetchu. Thank you very much and have a tasty day.